Hulk versus Red Hulk. There's a new Hulk on the block. Might be a different color, but still the same anger and rage and insane superhuman strength. So if these two Hulks ever go at it, which they have a ton in the comics, well, who's gonna win this fight? Who's gonna take it all? And really, is it even gonna be close? Let's get into it. Dr. Bruce Banner is a renowned scientist and a leading expert in the fields of biochemistry, nuclear physics, and gamma radiation. Because of that, well, he was one of the scientists tasked with trying to recreate the super soldier serum, the experiment that transformed Steve Rogers into Captain America. Bruce believed the answer lay hidden inside of gamma radiation, but after experimenting on himself, well, the mild-mannered scientist found himself plagued with a peculiar condition. When angered or provoked, he would transform into the rage-fueled and impossibly strong monster known as the Hulk. And yeah, Hulk is crazy strong. That's kinda his whole thing. He's stronger than Thor, even if Thor doesn't really want to admit it. It takes 2 hands for Thor to catch just one of Hulk's punches. And you can't say the same in reverse. Hulk was regularly sending Thor flying all around, smashing up him and his brother. So yeah, Hulk might not be the most popular guy in the Odinson household. And Thor wasn't the only guy Hulk has sent flying. I mean, just ask Ultron how hard Hulk can hit. Just ask Abomination what it's like to tangle with the Hulk. Hulk regularly fought against the military and smashed up all their equipment, all their trucks, their tanks, weapons, and everything. He straight up yeeted Emil Blonsky straight across the yard. Like, holy crap, Hulk will just straight up kill a guy. And I mean, just look at the way that Hulk completely decked a big old giant Leviathan. He did that with just one punch. And the thing is, it's actually pretty consistent for Hulk to do stuff like this. I mean, just ask Surtur. Just look at how he was messing around with other Leviathans in the same fight. He's even so strong, he's able to dent a vibranium wall. The only other guy we've seen damage vibranium with his bare hands was none other than Thanos. So yeah, Hulk is very strong. And on top of that, well, Hulk is insanely durable. I mean, sure, he might have had a low showing against Thanos, but I think that's actually just a lot more impressive for Thanos. Shows how powerful Thanos is, rather than showing off how weak and puny the Hulk is. I also think there's an element of bad writing here, and that's kinda skewed our perspective. Like, let's say that Thanos still beat the absolute crap out of the Hulk, still knocked Hulk out exactly like he did. All that still happens, but then Hulk explodes out of the Hulkbuster at the end of the movie like he was supposed to, absolutely bodies Cole Obsidian, then fights against Thanos again and does better the second time around. Not even saying he wins the fight, just does better. Don't you think we'd all give a little more grace to Hulk for losing to Thanos the first time? Instead, we got this, we somehow ended up here, and since this was the last time we really saw Hulk like actually being the Hulk, left a different impression. Because yeah, like I said, don't let this one thing fool you. Hulk is crazy tough. He's taken tons of attacks from Thor. He's taken tons of attacks from Abomination. Took tons of attacks from Hulkbuster. Acted like none of them really even bothered him that much. Dazed him a little bit, sure, but nowhere close to actually putting him down. I mean, even these attacks from Thor, when he was tapping into his true godhood, like straight up divine power, Hulk was back at it. Hulk technically knocked Thor out in that fight. He fell from like miles up in the air and crash landed. Was knocked out, but still survived. Was rammed through like 50 floors and had a skyscraper crash down on top of him. was only knocked out by a sucker punch. So yeah, I don't think I'm exaggerating here. I want to make sure my point's clear. Hulk is really durable. It's going to be really hard to injure him. End of the day, well, the Hulk is still the Hulk. And that still means something. Still means he's the strongest there is. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was a former general in the US Army, hell-bent on hunting down Dr. Bruce Banner and bringing an end to the Hulk. Of course, going down this path inadvertently caused him to create villains even worse than the Hulk, like Abomination or the Leader, forcing Ross to, ironically, turn to the Hulk for his help to take them down. From there, well, Thunderbolt Ross became US Secretary of State, where he went about campaigning for the Sokovia Accords, an action that ended with Captain America and Iron Man having a big ol' fight and destroying the Avengers in the process. And as if Ross hadn't caused enough problems, well, now he's President of the United States, and he picked up a little anger issue along the way. The type of anger issue that transforms him into a big red behemoth with impossible strength. As a Hulk, well, Red Hulk obviously has some insane superhuman strength and durability. He's tough enough to where bullets simply bounce off of him or ricochet around. He can just stand there through massive explosions. Literally, none of the military's weapons could even put a scratch on him. He was really only ever injured by Captain America's vibranium wings and feathers. And even then, well, Red Hulk showed off a fairly quick healing factor, was able to heal up the cuts and scratches pretty quickly. And while he was momentarily put down by Cap's vibranium blast, let's put this into perspective, because it's actually more impressive than you might think. See, vibranium blast can actually do some pretty serious damage to enemies. Black Panther was able to floor Cole Obsidian with a blast, and this Black Panther was able to floor Namor with a blast too, both of whom have been said to be Hulk-level characters. And remember, the intensity and power of a vibranium blast is proportional to the amount of energy that the vibranium has stored up. So while Black Panther was able to knock out Cole Obsidian with just the hits and damage he had taken from the Outriders throughout the battle, it took Red Hulk directly punching Cap's wings, like a lot, to finally, momentarily, knock Red Hulk down. But the biggest thing for Red Hulk is that he is insanely strong, which does make sense. He's a Hulk. He was able to tear apart the White House, level the West Wing with a thunderclap, easily smash another part of the building, even tear apart the Washington Monument as he was jumping past. But Red Hulk's greatest strength feat comes from his fight with Captain America. Ross was able to rip apart Cap's wing with just one hand, then crack and crush his helmet, all of which was vibranium, the strongest, toughest, most indestructible metal in the world, before adamantium came around. And Red Hulk is crushing it and tearing it apart in his bare hands. That's some of the greatest strength that we've ever seen in the MCU. He's insanely strong. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, these are two Hulks here. So what we're really looking for is strength and durability. That's what they're known for. They're Hulks. Whichever one is stronger or tougher obviously has a pretty big advantage here. Now, Hulk has some pretty great strength feats. We're not even mentioning fighting against Thor or Hulkbuster or things like that. But Hulk was able to crack the Bifrost Bridge just by walking on it, and then cracked it some more during his fight with Fenris. And this isn't just any ordinary bridge. We saw how many hits from Mjolnir it took for Thor to crack and break the bridge. And this Thor was weaker, but he could definitely still swing Mjolnir around. Look at what he did to Jotunheim. Then Hulk was able to one-shot a Chitauri Leviathan. While he's not the only guy who's done that by now, Iron Man said it would take literally all the energy in the suit and then some in order to break through this armor. Hulk one-shot it. Hulk was able to stagger Surtur too, who is straight up the size of mountains at that point. Like even at his worst and his weakest as Professor Hulk, right after snapping the Infinity Gauntlet, Hulk was still able to hold up a huge part of Avengers Mansion with just one arm. Hulk has some great strength feats. But Red Hulk? Well, he's able to break vibranium. Like we said, he took Captain America's vibranium wings, ripped it apart with one hand, then took Captain America's vibranium helmet, crushed it. This is insanely impressive. It's one of the strongest metals in the entire universe and is meant to be literally indestructible until Red Hulk got his hands on it. But here's the thing, just how impressive is it? Really? Like, we know that Thanos was able to break apart Captain America's shield with his sword. He's strong enough to break vibranium. But here's the thing, so is Namor. In fact, Namor broke a lot of vibranium. These ships are all made out of vibranium, and he's breaking them. And Jabari Wood is actually just as strong as vibranium, and he easily broke that. And Namor is meant to be just as strong as, you guessed it, the Hulk. Heck, if you really want to get into it, the Russo brothers believed that Hulk and Thanos were equals in strength too, just that Thanos was the way better fighter and could easily beat Hulk because of it. And then even Hulk himself, while he hasn't literally torn apart vibranium, he has dented it with one of his punches. So you can definitely make an argument that Hulk and Red Hulk are equals in strength, but I'm going to argue that even if that's the case, well, Hulk has demonstrated way more punching power, the ability to deck enemies in a way that Red Hulk didn't. But I think the biggest thing in this fight is that Hulk has shown off better durability than Red Hulk. No way around that either. Like, Red Hulk was taken out by being stabbed with one of Cap's wings and having all of his kinetic energy transferred back to him in a massive explosion. While he wasn't put out of the fight for forever, he was knocked out by just that one attack. Because it's not like anything was really doing all that much damage to him before that. And while you can say that this is actually a really impressive feat, Black Panthers have knocked out Cole Obsidian or Namor with vibranium shockwaves before, and none of those blasts had the power of Hulk punches behind them, I still think a lot of Hulk's durability is more impressive than this. See, for starters, Hulk's already taken an attack that is at least on the same level, if not more so, with Thor punching him. And Hulk still ended up winning that fight, with a little bit of help, of course. In fact, Hulk has taken a whole lot of attacks from Thor. He took a whole lot of punches from Hulkbuster. He was thrown around by Surtur. And then they're snapping the Infinity Gauntlet. According to the Russo brothers, Hulk was the only hero strong enough and tough enough to snap the Infinity Gauntlet, take the full power of the Infinity Stones, and survive. They even directly said that Thor would have died if he had tried to snap, and Thor straight up took the full force of a neutron star. It's a really close fight, and who knows? Red Hulk might just keep on getting stronger and stronger. Really doubt we've seen the last of him. Or even better yet, we might just see Hulk and Red Hulk actually fight. But as it stands right now, well, Red Hulk would definitely give Hulk a good fight. I don't think he's strong enough, or more importantly, tough enough to actually beat the Hulk. As it stands right now, well, the Hulk is still coming out on top. The Hulk wins.